My name is Halyna Panasiuk. I'm from Ukraine, but now I live in Poland. And I try to tell you more about improving email deliverability and open rates. Let's go. I am senior manager of travel startup Voyagu, and I have a lot of experience in email marketing because the last 12 years I'm an email marketer of big project in Ukraine, in Poland, and in Europe. I am ex-CRM manager of BlaBlaCar in Ukraine and Poland, and now I work with travel startup, and I work with a lot of audience from USA, and deliverability is one of my main topics. And today I decided to tell you more about that. And my presentation, it's typical stories about deliverability, because we always have something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. I said it about the some life hacks which I used and which maybe will be useful for you in the future. We started from the best practice and deliverability tips. Email deliverability, refers to the ability of an email to successful reach in the inbox, because usually when we saw that all emails are delivery, it's not the same that it were delivery in the inbox. And it's first step of our email funnel. That's why it's very important for us to work with that and to improve it, I think, every day and every month. In the big company, really a big team work with this, and I try to tell you more about some tips, some aspects, some mechanics, how we can improve it now. I think it's the most important slide in the whole presentation, and I've added a link to the source because it's a very good infographic how to improve email deliverability. But and we can finish on it. But really, I try to tell you more details about every key process of this process. Key components of email deliverability, it's the first, it's infrastructure, because usually all problems started from some technical problems. That's why we need to start from our authentication for our domains, and how to better use IP addresses, because sometimes it's better to use dedicated IP addresses, especially if you have a big subscribers base, or sometimes it's better to use the IP addresses of your USP, because if you need to use your own dedicated IP addresses, you need to spend a lot of time for the warming up, and you will spend a lot of time to check these IP addresses, and sometimes it's not the best way, because if, for example, your base is less than 1 million subscribers, you will spend a lot of time, and it's better to use the IP addresses of SendPulse, for example. How to implement, I'll add a link to the documents, and how to check, I will add also a few tools for this, but really it's the first step to work with infrastructure to implement the implementation of SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records for domain. Because without these DNS records, it's impossible to send the emails from your name, your sender name, but with using the infrastructure of the different ESP. The next very important key is your reputation. It's sender reputation, which is connected to the score of the internet service providers, and usually it's the same story, how you use different IP addresses. again, I will tell that if you use dedicated IP addresses, you need to build your own infrastructure for this. And if you use the IP addresses of your ESP, you need just ask sometimes about the reputation, and you need to check it with some tools like Postmasters for Gmail, for example. And the next one is domain reputation. Domain reputation is the history of your mistakes and the history of your successful. And it's similar to sender reputation, and that's why sometimes it's better to use a few domains for this for your sendings, because sometimes if you have some mistakes or problem, it's good practice when you can change your sender name and use it while you will fix all problem with your domain. That's why I always say that it's better to use a few domains, or for example, domains or subdomains for the different types of emails. For example, if you started to send a lot, it will be not very good for your domain reputation. And if something if you see, for example, that you have middle reputation in Gmail Postmaster tools, it's better maybe to stop for a few times the volume, to increase the volume of your emails, and in the same times use the other domain, because the reputation it's one of the most important components of deliverability politics. The next one is content. It's long story about how to make content for a mail, but we always need to remember that it must be relevance with high quality, and avoid spam triggers words, because for some email client like Yahoo, it's very important. But really, content depends. The quality of content sometimes depends of your main email clients. That's why it's better to check with different email clients. But we have the typical rules for it. It's avoiding spam triggers. I will send you list of the most popular spam triggers, and also if you use ChatGPT for text, please check the spam triggers in that text. The next slide, it's about list management, because if you started to work with a big list, you need to clean up from old email addresses. You need to unsubscribe the people who already complained, people from blacklist, and also you can't send people any emails without their permission, except some transactional emails. But usually for transactional emails, in e-commerce or in other project, we use other tools, not the same domain and not the same tools as for promo emails. And regular cleaning, it's the second main rule. Please don't send to the very old addresses, and if people don't use your product or don't visit your site last 2 years, it means that it's not your client, and it's just the problem of your mail deliverability. It's old addresses, and don't send to them. Engagement. In last time, I saw that this component became more important than before, because I saw that the same spam filters algorithm from Gmail, for example, changed. This year we saw a lot of new rules for Gmail and Yahoo Politics, for example, and engagement became more important, because if you send if you send interesting email for your client, the system see it, and you can see the improving of your open rate, for example, and other ratings, because in Gmail, for example, they made a proposition, maybe it's interesting for you, this email is interesting for you, and other different tools and algorithm of the sorting changes every day, and that's why engagement became more and more important and popular. That's why when you started to make any communication with your clients, you need to take care about your welcome emails, because the first time engagement is very important for the engagement in this channel in the future. And compliance in the last component, because really, if you work with different regions, you need to know all rules. For example, GDPR rules for Europe, Kin spam politics for USA, Castle for Canada, and other. And really, for example, one of the main principles of GDPR, it's you need to clean your list of your subscribers if they are not your client for the last 2 years. And I think for USA and Canada, they don't have now anything, something like that. But really, before the sending, it's better to understand in which country your subscribers lives, and how you need to change your templates for this region, because it's always one of the principle of the politics in big email clients such as Gmail and Yahoo. But really, more problem you will have not with the big email clients, because they have a very clear rules. Usually the biggest problem is some regional email clients like Orange in France. And I will tell you more about this later. And a few words about change, something new. This year started from the big updating of the Gmail and Yahoo rules, and Yahoo even made their own postmaster. And if you work with USA, for example, I think it's a good idea to add this postmaster. And now they have the same rules and the same principles, because it helps to send better from the Gmail addresses to the Yahoo and other. And the main point, it's you need to check your email authentication, and now the mark, it's the must. You need to use the mark politics, because earlier you can use only SPF and the king without the mark, but now, especially for new domain without a good reputation, without a lot of history, you need to implement the demark. One click on subscribe. Usually we think that it's typical for us, but really a lot of companies, they say that if you unsubscribe, we will check your address for a few days, and we will clean your address for a few days. But now you need unsubscribe all people less than 2 days. And next main point is you need to check your spam rate less than 0.3%. It's without percent, sorry. And I I read a lot of information for understand on which period you need to check it, and it's the time. It's a day. It's a daily period. Spam. If one day you have spam rate more than 0.3%, it will be just the first. The start of your problem, because if a few days you will have less rating, it's good. But if you have a big spam rate during a few days, it will be not very good for your domain reputation. And after, you will need to improve it and to check it again with your list audience. That's why it will be the big problem, I think, this autumn when started the Black Friday campaigns. But now you can send your own proposition to the Gmail and say that I need a second chance, and I add email guidelines for the Gmail. It's update new guidelines for Gmail, and I recommend to check it with your email politics. And really, if you see some problem with your Gmail deliverability, you can send email to the Gmail technical team and discuss with them that, because before it was impossible, and it was impossible to say that something wrong with Gmail, not with your domain. And I hope you will not any question, and I hope all is clear. And I started to tell more about useful tools. The first one is Postmasters. Postmasters, it's tools dedicated to the big email client. For example, you can use it for Google, for Yahoo, for Outlook, but with different function. The best Postmaster tool is Gmail, but it's not very very good and very informative, but it's the best Postmaster tool. And if you start to work with this with your subscribers base, it's better to start send and check the information in Postmaster for Gmail, because domain reputation, it has impact not only for your Gmail deliverability, but also for the other email clients. And also they add this year a new dashboard, and you can see the main point which you need to check before sending. For example, it's a screenshot from my dashboard, and as you see, we have problem with the market authentication, and we need to work about user reporter spam rate. But you can see this dashboard, and you can understand on which point, which requirement you have any problem, and you can to fix it. And next one, it's zero bounce. If you started to work with your old base, it's a good practice to clean up your base. For zero bounce, you can send the list of your emails, and it will be checked for how many valid email addresses there, how many spam traps, how many emails with mistakes. It helps if you started to work with old base, for example, and it's a good practice to check before the sending, because if you will have a lot of mistakes on your first email, it will be the big problem for your reputation rate and for your domain reputation. That's why it's better to check it with some tools like Zero Bounce. And next, it's how to check DNS records. I add a few tools. It's mx-toolbox.com and the Martian domain checker. You can check your SPF. You can check the mistakes in your DKIM addresses, and you can see the recommendation how to improve your DNS records with that tools. And also with MX Toolbox, you can check the blacklist, your domain in blacklist, because sometimes if you send from the not very good IP, you can be in the some blacklist. Usually it's not the big problem, but sometimes it's important, especially if you work on different markets. And how to check in which Gmail tab your email will be received. It's one of the solutions. You can use the Litmus for that, and usually it's a good practice when your promo emails are received in promo tab. But sometimes if you need to improve it, and if you need to be in the primary inbox, you need to work a lot with engagement, because now it's design and engagement. It's two main factors for the inbox. For example, if you send emails with less of design, just with text, without any buttons, without any pictures. For example, it's working when you send B2B emails. Your email, even if they send from the ESP, from the third part, they will receive in the primary inbox. But also you need to have a good engagement for this type of email, for these senders, and really some people will receive it in primary inbox without any additional magic. I hope you don't have any question, but if yes, just let me know in our chat. And the next, warming up the APS. If you decided to work with dedicated IP addresses, you need to warm it up it before, because from each IP address you can send a limitation volume of email per day. That's why you need to start from the little volume, and for the few weeks, usually few weeks, but sometimes even few months, you need to send by a little portion, and or you also can use different tools for that, because it helps you to have a reputation for new domain, for example, because it's the biggest problem for us when we started to work with a new domain. Sometimes we have problem with reputation because we have problem with our old base. But really you can warm up it with some additional tools like Warmbox or Zero Bounds. And the next one is how to check on spam words. You can use ChatGPT for that. It's a good practice, really, because, for example, even if you don't know the whole list of these spam words, you can use the typical ready list from HubSpot, for example. But also you can use the free tool from Foldery, and you can add your email, but as you see on this screenshot, that word hello, it's spam words. I think it depends of the language, but really this tool work for a lot of language, not only for English, for example. But also you can check all your emails text before with ChatGPT. And also you can check email before sending. It's very easy to use email tester. You can send there your email and see the rates of your email, because this service will check your SPF, the all DNS records, check the alt text for the all image, links from this email, and will help to improve your design and improve some technical records for better deliverability. And the next one, it's just a few life hacks. If you don't have any question about tools, we will continue. I decided to add a few links to the big sources where you can read more about deliverability, because really we don't have enough time for the a lot of details. But really, if you work in a big company and you need to improve deliverability for a few million subscribers, it's better to use the big tools like Validity, because also you can use it for checking your APS, DNS. Uh, yeah, I see your question. Just a few, and it's a good, very story to use Validity, but it's very expensive. And also support Google.com added information about Gmail, and it's a big victory for all email marketers, because during a long time Gmail didn't say anything about how works spam filters in Gmail. And I see the first question from Helen. How often should we clean our email list on mountain good deliverability? It's a good practice when you started to clean your email list once per year. If you have if you have such habit, don't send to the old addresses and clean up after the big email campaigns your old addresses. It's good to clean your email list after the Christmas, really, because you send Black Friday, you send Christmas, you send all big campaigns, and after you can clean up your list, because you see that these people didn't engage during the 2 years with the big campaigns, and it's time to clean it. But really, after the all big campaigns, it's good to delete your old addresses if you see the mistakes, if you see that they are in blacklist, because really it's just the trash in your subscriber space. But I have a habit when after the all Christmas campaigns, I clean up my base, and it's the end of my working year. And I think it's a good practice, and it's not, you don't need to do it often, because I think if you use modern ESP and some old addresses are cleaned automatically, but really once per year it's time to understand how many active people we have in our subscription base, and to delete the old ones. I think it's the whole my answer, and if you need more details, just write about this. And yeah, I propose you to check deliverability for each domain, because sometimes if you don't have any problem with Gmail, for example, it doesn't mean that you don't have any problem with other domains. Sometimes it's related to the speed of your sending. Sometimes it's depends of the quality of your subscription base, but really the deliverability is related to each domains, and that's why you when you see the structure of your subscription base, you see on which tool you need to spend more time. For example, it's typical for us now when we have almost 30% of Gmail. That's why it's very important for us, and we work with deliverability on Gmail. But if you have a lot of people from other email clients, you need to spend more time for that also, because sometimes for now in our time when open rate it's not the good rating of the engagement, and we need to check our email engagement with clicks and with traffic. It's better to understand how works this traffic from different domains, and how much time you need to spend for Outlook, for example, because sometimes if you work with B2B, for example, and your clients use Outlook, and it's other story for design, and it's other story for sending time, and really all depends on the structure of your base. That's why I think it's a good practice to understand better the percent of part of every domain in your subscription base. Are there the best times and days to send emails for higher open rate? It's the one of the most popular question in my life. No, all depends of your base, because if you better understand your audience, you will better understand when they are in the email, when they are online, because if your audience is people who works in office every day, usually we understand that their main pattern of behavior when they came to office and they open their email box. That's why it's better to send this email on not Monday, because Monday it's not a good day for email, on Thursday, for example, but at the start of the workday. You need to check it, and if you don't have any ideas when, it's better to check with your Google Analytics and see when you have a lot of people on your website or in your application, because it's time when they are online, and that's why it's more chances to check email in the same time also. That's why if you don't have any idea how to start, it's better to see your analytics for the visits, in which time, in which day you have a lot of visits. But you can send in any time, and sometimes some even crazy email like the I had experience when we send in the midnight, because we have big deals at midnight. It was special offers, and we sent it midnight, and we have almost, I think, 50% of open rate. That's why we don't have any magic on this. It's better to understand your audience and to test it, because it's time and day. It's one of the big hypothesis for validation and on test, because really sometimes it's good to send on Friday, sometimes it's good to send on weekends, because all depends on the pattern of your audience. But thank you for this question. And a few life hacks which I used every day. and which helps me to improve my engagement and my open rate and deliverability rate. About open rate, if we started to say, it's better to use different senders for different types of email. It means that you need use different name and different email senders. For example, sometimes it's good to send. Thank you, Olena. Sometimes it's good to send not from the brand name, but from your manager, for example, or from some your mascot of your company, such as all from Duolingo. Because it helps for people to understand your brand and from which person they receive email. Also, if you have some old domains in your subscription base, such as Orange or Seznam in Czechia, for example, it's better to don't send a lot of email in the same day. For example, when I worked with French base, I sent Orange with little parts because it was impossible to send at one day more than 1,000 emails. This is why it's better to check how people react and how time sending for the different domains, and sometimes it's better to send with the little parts for such domains if you see that there are some problem. It's also work for Ukrainian domains like Ukrnet. Also, it's better to take care about some additional domain because if you started to work with big promo campaigns, you will see especially if it's a new domain, you can see some problem because you need time for improving your reputation for your domain and center reputation, and that's why it's better to make a few domains for email and change it if you have any problem, especially before some big sales like autumn Black Friday or Christmas sale or something like that. And also it was my new I think new idea. I saw it on my campaigns that plain text with CTA, it was typical template for me for some triggers emails, but now it doesn't work very good for Gmail because it's the most popular spam format. This is why I think it's good to avoid template when you use only text and CTA without any additional blocks such as image or your some brand blocks because before a long time plain text it was good for inbox for Gmail, but CTA it's typical button, it's typical for click, and that's why now this format is not very safe. That's why I think it's good to avoid the plain text with CTA. It's better if you need to send something like that, better to send plain text with some links. Or the next one, it's about links. You need to check the links because if you used links to other domain, not for your sender domain, sometimes it will be a problem for some spam filters, except the links to the social media. But you need to check it before because for example, if you send to the other site and you have a problem with speed of this website, it can be the problem for the spam filters, for the spam robots. And also it's a very old story when we asked our subscribers to add our sender email to their address book, but now I saw that this trend, a very old trend, became again very useful, and you can ask your subscribers to add sender name in their address book on the first step of your engagement, for example in the welcome email. The next one, it's don't use big gifs and check the size of your image, because sometimes if if this image need a lot of time for download, also Gmail cuts this image, and sometimes it's just the one point for the spam filters. And check the size of email, because Gmail cuts emails more than 100 kilobytes. But really, you can improve it with useless image or other side. And the new life hacks in the high engagement of the new templates, because I see that in every my test for the last, I think, 6 months, new templates always win, because it it looks like the algorithm of the spam filters in Gmail started working as TikTok. If you have a high engagement of something new, you will see the high engagement of these templates for the few days after. That's why I think it's better to start it. Change your old templates and make more A/B testing. But really now I see that if I change some additional elements of templates for the old triggers every 2 months, I see that my engagement on these triggers became higher. That's why I propose you to check it with your audience, and I hope you will see the results. But it works only for Gmail, and it helps to improve your engagement. Uh, Also, if you see that your test email or in spam was received in spam, it's a good practice to check the original of message with ChatGPT, because sometimes it's not very easy to find the mistakes. It's your DKIM or it's your SPF, or you see some spam words and other, but you can open with Gmail original message to copy this and to ask ChatGPT, please check and find why this email in spam was in spam. And really, I see the good results, because it's less time to find the mistakes. And you can also use different email senders name for some holidays. For example, you can add some emoji in the name of your email, and now it works for some special offers, but not to use it very often. Don't use caps in subject line except the first one, because really I tested the two subject line when we use caps in every words and when we use just one caps, and really it works, because engagement higher in open rate with subject line without any caps. Check your text with spam list. You can add also it in your ChatGPT, for example. And I added the link for the spam list, and I hope it will be useful. It's all on my side. I hope it was useful for you, and you saw something new, something old, and Yeah, and we have time for the question. How important to Helen? Thank you. You support me today. How important to optimize an email for mobile now? It's very important, but it depends of the your audience of the pattern. But really now in every base, I think 50 or even 60% of people started to read their email from mobile. It's not very important for deliverability. Really, we checked it because it's not the main factor now, but really it's the big factor of engagement because if people see the bad email on mobile, it usually you will not get your goal with this email. But also I saw the interesting pattern when people started read email on mobile and after they again read this email on their web client. But it's additional engagement. I don't know why. Maybe it's like if you see the interesting email, you just with mobile device you just see the subject line and the first screen, and after it's if it's really very interesting, you will read it again on the website. But really it's important for your engagement and for your main goals of your email. It's not the factor of deliverability now, but it's very important for your email funnels. How personalization can affect deliverability and open rate? It's still relevant. Oh, yes, it's still relevant because it helps to improve open rate. And really, it works. It works last 10 years and it's became the standard really, but sometimes it's better to use not only names but maybe some personal information. For example, I used the personal information from the name of manager because I work with travel, and for example I sent the emails with subject line, "Hello, it's your manager Marta," for example. But really it helps to improve. Just maybe use it not in every subject line. Because as all in our life, it's just some for some special offers. But really, it helps to improve open rate and better to test it. But now it works for the long time. It works. Helena, I see you. Many thanks. Thank you. And if you don't any question, thank you. I hope it was interesting for you. You will receive this presentation with a lot of links. I hope it will be useful for you in the future. And I hope my English was not very terrible because yeah, it's just my thought working language. But yeah, but thank you for this day and have a good day. Thank you. Bye.